welcome Laurent to the conference. It was a great presentation. And we can begin with the feature of NoSQL and the applications using it. It's growing, it's growing, it's growing in Turkey also. In market, many companies are already heard about it and already move it. I've been also involved in such a project. So, how do you see the future? I'm sure where you came from, you are in the middle of this sector. So, I want to hear some of your observations about this.
Okay, so basically we are in a phase, the early adopter, very technical people adopting using NoSQL phase is you can say it's almost done or close to done. All the very technical companies that have developments or techniques in their genes, they started using NoSQL a while, and now it's in production. Some of them became customers of Couchbase or other NoSQL database. So we are not into this early market phase anymore. We are seeing like a maturity of the market now. So I work in Paris, in France, and most of the customers I talk to, we started talking a lot to the bank ecosystem, the bank. All these old group that people don't generally see as very technical companies or very agile companies. They are starting really to seriously to look into NoSQL. So that's where we are right now, like bigger companies getting into NoSQL. They have the use case, they know they have the use case, and they now are really starting to look into it. You can really tell that it's moving into a more mature phase. Every NoSQL product on the market, or most of them, are not old, but for development you can say they're old. Couchbase is one of the younger one of these products, even if it's based in old projects like memcached and CouchDB. You can tell that it's really production ready. It's been tested by everybody, and it's here to stay basically. And people are, now that it's recognized as being here to stay, people like bank are really looking into it, which is a good example, I think, because they don't move fast to any new technology. You have to make a choice and know that this is here to stay, and that's where we are. So that's really interesting to have big use cases, like big customers like this looking into NoSQL. That's exciting, and it's gonna bring all the ecosystem that move around banking. Especially in France, there's a lot of consultancy firm, and you can see that they're all having their own NoSQL offer. So big data offer, big data. Yeah, that's the world. Like big data is eating the world. Big data is becoming really big, and you can see that everything around that is growing really, really fast. 2, 3, 4 years ago, you would say nobody has, well, not nobody, but few people have a use case for NoSQL, right? Few people handle millions of documents, and it's the good news is it's changing. There's lots of data being produced by people, being produced by objects. We can talk about the Internet of Things. There's many things that creates data, and we have to manage that data. And we are really seeing in this phase where people now need NoSQL. They have the use case, so that's good.
What are your suggestions to the developers, to the teams? Maybe it can be a path. You have experience moving towards this technology.
What do you mean? Sorry. What do you mean by?
I'm sure many developers teams are heard about.
NoSQL, how to start with NoSQL?
Yeah, they already have some relational infrastructure database, and is there a proposition like a path to moving towards NoSQL to the developers teams?
Okay. So what would you do if you want to start with NoSQL, right? Find a good use case. I think is a good first thing to do, obviously, and there is a lot of interesting use cases, especially in the big data side of things. And everybody's talking about big data these days. So we were in a mature phase on big data with all the Hadoop ecosystem, and now we see some very cool new generation product coming up, like Storm, Kafka, Spark. So as a developer, I would find it funny. Developer likes to to play with technology. I know I like to say to people I'm not using something, I'm playing with it. And I think developers should start playing with Couchbase and Storm, or Couchbase and Spark and Kafka, because that's one of the cool new things. The difficult part here is to find a use case, right? So it depends on which company you work on. Again, all the people in banking I've seen are doing consolidation of data, 360 degrees view of the customer, so they have all this data and they want to get something out of it. Obviously that's what you do, because them and the Spark or Storm tools are made for it. So I would really advise people that want to have fun with big data and NoSQL in general to probably start with Couchbase and Spark. For instance, we have a Spark connector in developer preview that's waiting for reviews. People can use it, people can give us their feedback about this connector, for instance. And because, as I said, Couchbase is completely open source, and it's not just open source, open development. So by that I mean you can send us any comments, pull request if you can send a pull request. That's great. That's or submit bugs, all these things. Please do it. It's now we are in the developer preview stage. We are really open to how we develop things and really open to suggestions. So if you want to play with it, if you have bug submission, pull request, please do. Please tell us.
Maybe I can also ask about the contribution to the project. From which type of countries are developers contributing it? If there is it based majority in France, or it's big? Maybe you can mention about where do these pull requests coming from?
Okay, so Couchbase is very much a Silicon Valley company, right? The big office is in Mountain View. There's an office in San Francisco, in London, in Manchester, and the rest of the developers are scattered around the world, because like other open source company, we are a distributed team and we know how to work being distributed, just like Couchbase is distributed. So where does this come from? Most of apart from the work that our engineer team does, most of the contribution we have usually comes from customers. We have this great project with PayPal. PayPal is using Couchbase and Kafka, and they did the first Couchbase Kafka plugin, so that was nice. And so PayPal is in the, I believe they're in the Valley, I'm not sure, but yeah, it comes from the US. We have one of Couchbase employee that started doing the Couchbase and Elasticsearch plugin that was based in Israel. We have people in Japan that started looking at Couchbase and sending us lots of feedback on our Spark connector, the Spark plugin. So that's cool too. You don't have to send us code. It could be anything. It could be just your feedback about about the developer experience. How do you feel how easy it's the plugin to use, all these things. So it doesn't necessarily have to be code, but we have people all around the world sending whether it is feedback or code or just tracking bugs, and that is pretty cool. So we have a new developer experts, developer champion program for Couchbase. So if anyone is doing some cool stuff with Couchbase, then we will appoint them developer expert or Couchbase expert, Couchbase champion, and might invite them to Couchbase Connect, which is a huge main conference in Santa Clara, beginning of June. So that's pretty cool to have people of the community being recognized by the work, and we can invite them and they can talk to the conference. So that's pretty cool.
Such a distributed team worldwide. Thank you for coming to conference. If maybe we can have also your last sentences about the conference. How was it? And maybe we can have some of your experience that you had here.
Well, first as a speaker, I've been very well taken care of. So thank you guys for inviting me and taking care of me. About the conference itself, I think you have a very nice program. Several times during the day, I was torn between should I go and see this, should I go and see that. So that's at the same time it's which is, I mean, that's good because that you have very, I think, interesting talk. So that is pretty cool. I know I will be doing I've been doing my talk at the same time as another one that I desperately wanted to see, but you know that's the hard life of conferences. I think it went very smoothly. So good job for that, and the food was really good. So that's a pretty good point too. You know, you could write books about the food at developer conference, and this is a very good example today. You have great food. That's pretty cool.
So next time we are waiting for you again. Thank you for attending.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything.